Good
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Ms. Quick, are you ready? Thumbs up, it's fine.
Yes,
Perfect. All right, very good. Madam Secretary,
we're not ready. One
we're
second.
not ready. Okay. When you're ready, you can give me a thumbs up and we can get started. Thanks. And I'm going to ask all board members if you could please turn your cameras on.
All right. We are ready now.
Sounds good. One, two, three, four, okay. All right, it is now 7:31, so we're going to call to order this regularly scheduled meeting of the City of Orange Township Planning Board for today, February 26th, via this Zoom platform. I'm going to start with, if everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oops, sorry. Thank you all. All righty then. With that, we're going to call Madam Secretary, if you can, have we met the sunshine law?
In accordance with Chapter 231, Section 5 of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this remote public meeting of the Planning Board of the City of Orange Township was filed with the municipal clerk of the City of Orange Township, posted on the city's bulletin board designated for that purpose and on all official website, as well as mailed to the city official newspaper as provided by ordinance.
And thank you. Can you call attendance, please?
Yes, sir. Member Foston?
Present.
Member Anuké?
Present.
Member Mobley?
Present.
Member Latour?
Present.
Council Vice President Eason?
Present.
Mayor Warren? Absent. Vice Chair Jones?
Here,
Chairman Holmes?
Present.
Quorum has been met.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any correspondence at this time?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we received correspondence dated February 21st from the applicant Vita Capital LLC, attorney, one second. Patrick Tobias? Tobia. All right, there we go. Thank you, Attorney Wenzel. Is here on behalf of the applicant, sir.
Good evening. Is my mic on?
Yes, your mic is on.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir. Yeah.
So, Mr. Tobia, if through you, Chair, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tobia is here tonight, representing the applicant through his firm Trank Isabella Siddiqui and Shadanian, asking for an adjournment of the hearing on this matter. I think they're still revising some final pieces here in order
That's
to
correct.
be able to have a fully prepared further presentation to the board. I just don't know, Ms. Reyes, did the firm provide a date that they would be back? Is it the March
Yes.
date?
Yes, it is for
Okay.
March 26th.
So, Mr. Tobia, you would agree with me that that this applicant is waiving the time for the board to take action, correct?
That's correct. Can I make a correction? My partner's letter, Mr. Jenkins, has that we've asked for an April 23rd date. That's what the letter says.
Okay, well, I think Miss Reyes is going to, after probably tomorrow or the next day, will be reaching out to Attorney Jenkins to finalize that.
Okay.
But as far as tonight is concerned, we are going to indicate to anybody who had was going to be here for this application. This is the Liberty site, Libretti's.
Ready, so.
Go ahead, Ms. Reyes. You
I'm sorry, yes. If I may, he did request the April meeting. I just wanted to confirm on his letter that it was provided to the board.
and Ms. Reyes, that April meeting date is
April 23rd.
April 23rd. So, Mr. Tobia, once again, thank you for the clarification. So, this matter, the matter is being adjourned to the April 23rd Planning Board meeting. It's a regular meeting at 7:30. Anyone who's here tonight for this application know that the matter is being held over to April 23rd. If you're here tonight for this application, please make sure you log on April 23rd. The applicant, through you, Chair, the applicant is not providing any further notice because this is a regularly scheduled meeting where this notification is being made that the matter is being carried to the April 23rd meeting date.
Attorney Wenzel,
Yeah, of course, Chair.
can we ask for the sake of the public and with because it's 2 months away, can we ask for renotice?
So,
And I know Mr. Tobias is here, Attorney Tobias, I'm sorry, is here.
That's okay.
Tobias, how I pronounce it again, please?
My family pronounces it Tobia, but it does, I answer to any combination, so it's
I'd
okay.
like to call a person by the name, Attorney
Tobia,
so-
Tobia then, Tobia.
Tobia,
you.
thank you. Is it possible?
It's possible, you're the deciders. Typically, if a new date's announced at the meeting, we don't usually have to renotice. That's what we're asking, that we don't have to. I leave it up to the board and your lawyer. But we're asking that since the date's being announced at a public meeting, and it's a next regularly scheduled meeting, that we don't need to renotice.
So back to you, Attorney Wenzel. That is Wenzel, right? No, just joking.
yeah, no. No,
Your family
normally,
name, right?
yeah, normally you would, Ms. Toby is correct. Normally you would not do a renotice, but also normally you would be held over to the next meeting date.
That's my
think,
concern, yes.
I think the concern here is there's a lag time here of a little less than 60 days. So I would I think you, Mr. Tobia, if you can relate back to Mr. Jenkins that there is a desire by the board for him to renotice, but Chair, would you agree with me that there is not a need to put the notice? Newspapers are kind of going away the way of the dodo bird in any event. But there's not a need to put a notice in the paper, and they can do that notice by regular mail. They wouldn't have to, in essence, they wouldn't have to provide an affidavit of service. In essence, it's a courtesy. There you go. I don't use
Okay.
that word a lot. A courtesy of the applicant to send out this notice. It does not have to be certified.
But it would go to the regular
The 200-foot list, yes.
foot, right? Okay, and I'm fine with that. It's just that we've been on this. This has been on the agenda a couple of times since December, I think it was, Madam Secretary.
Yes.
And so with the time frame, and then again the skipping next month, I think it would be due diligence for the public.
Attorney Winston.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. We'll take care of it. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, yes.
right, if I may.
Madam
Attorney
Secretary?
Wenzel, can you please clarify, when you said not certified, has in not certified letters to the 200 radius? So I am clear on the notice that will be provided to us for our record?
Correct. So the applicant has already met the jurisdictional threshold requirement of providing the original notice, both in the newspaper and the 200-foot, by complying with the ordinance, providing proof that they have sent out the notices to the people in the 200-foot list. The chairman's point is more of a courtesy to those people. So there's no official notice here. It's a courtesy notice whereby the applicant is through Mr. Tobia is indicating that they will send that notice, but they're not going to provide any sort of affidavit indicating that the notice was provided, other than Mr. Tobia's representation as a respected member of the bar. It's a good thing he's here, not Mr. Jenkins. I probably would have said something different. But and then when and I'm sure that when obviously another respected member of the bar, Mr. Jenkins, returns on the April 23rd date, he can also reiterate that notice went out, and that would be sufficient. I think it's more that the idea here from the chairman is more of a courtesy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate that clarity. Yes, and yes, the courtesy it will be extended to the public, as well as the official notice being done earlier, and a notification here at this meeting that the application for 554 Nassau would be heard on April 23rd.
Thank you.
All right. Was that it for correspondence, Madam Secretary?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Enjoy
you,
your-
Mr. Tobia. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Attorney Tobia, I apologize.
Good night. Good night, all.
Good night. All right, moving the agenda, we have the adoption of the October 23rd Planning Board meeting minutes. And they were provided in the Dropbox. And I hope everyone had an opportunity to review them. So at this time, I will entertain a motion.
Motion.
We have a motion from Vice Chair Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Member Mobley.
Mobley.
Are there any questions on the motion? Madam Secretary?
Member Foston? You're muted.
I think that I was absent.
No, you weren't.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You arrived late. We're there.
It
Okay.
counts.
Member Anuké?
Yes.
Member Mobley?
Yes.
Member Latour?
Yes.
Council Vice President Eason?
Yes.
Chairman Holmes? I'm sorry, Vice Chair Jones?
Yes.
Chairman Holmes?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next, we have the adoption of the November 14th Planning Board meeting minutes. Again, provided in the Dropbox, so everyone should have had opportunity to review those minutes. And I will entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion from Member Latour. Is there a second? Second from Member Mobley. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Secretary.
Member Foston? Where you go? Member Foston?
You're muted again, Andrew.
Yes.
We've lost picture. There we go. Thank
Member
you.
Anuké,
Yes.
Member Mobley,
Yes.
Member Latour,
Yes.
Council Vice President Eason,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Holmes,
Yes,
motion passes.
thank you. The next item is the adoption of the December 18th Planning Board meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yeah. Madam Secretary.
those minutes will be carried to the next planning board meeting, March 26th.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have the extension request for approval for case number 22-04, 68 Central Avenue Holdings LLC. That's 56-68 Central Avenue.
Attorney Moore is here on behalf of the applicant, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening, Attorney Moore.
And good evening, Chair. It's great to see you, members of the board. My name is Marcia Moore from the law firm of Post Polk on behalf of the applicant 68 Central Avenue Holdings LLC. So we were before this board in December of 2023 with a resolution of January 2020, actually 22, January 2023. And that project includes a 5-story residential building with 82 residential apartments, along with 137 parking spaces. We are seeking a 1-year extension of that approval so we can finalize our resolution compliance. We have been in communication with the respective professionals. There are some issues that we still have to resolve, so we are seeking that 1-year extension of our approval.
Okay. Extension for 1 year. Madam Secretary, do we a roll call?
Yes, we have to
All
take.
right. So with that, I entertain a motion to approve the extension request.
Motion.
Motion from Councilwoman Eason and a second from Member Mobley. Any questions on the motion? Madam Secretary.
Member Foston,
Yes.
Member Anuké,
Yes.
Member Mobley,
Yes.
Member Latour,
Yes.
Council Vice President Eason,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Holmes,
Yes.
motion passes.
And that was for the year, for 1 year from today's date, or is that
So it'll
from?
be retroactive from January 25th was the date
Okay.
of adoption, so it'll be retroactive from that date.
Good.
And thank you again for your time. Again, Ms. Ray, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for your courtesies.
Take care.
Again.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Next up, an extension request for approval for case number 23, case number 23-02, 151 Taylor Orange Urban Renewal LLC. That's 151 Taylor Street.
Attorney Webster is here on behalf of the applicant, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. How are you?
Wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, I'm asking for an extension on behalf of 151 Taylor. We represent them. We were approved on March 22nd. It's a 3-story multifamily residential building consisting of 9 residential units and 8 off-street parking spaces. Approval was memorialized in May of 2023. I think we're just finishing up the resolution compliance. And I think we have filed everything we need to pull our demo permits. And I'm hoping that the construction begins in the spring. That's what the client is related to me.
Okay, thank you for that update. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the extension for this application.
Motion to approve the extension.
Motion from Councilwoman Eason.
Second.
Is it second from Member Mobley? Are there any questions on the motion? Madam Secretary?
Member Foston,
Yes.
Member Anuké,
Yes.
Member Mobley,
Yes.
Member Latour,
Yes.
Council Vice President Eason,
yes,
Vice Chair Jones,
yes,
Chairman Holmes,
Yes.
motion passes.
And just for clarity, that year date, the expiration date, if you will be,
It should be May through May 24th, 2026, I think. Madam Secretary?
mm,
Just 1 second.
it was approved on the 23rd, 2023? Was that it? May, you said?
From the day of memorialization.
So it was memorialized on May 24th, 2023. So it should be expiring on May 24th, 2025. So I'm asking to go to May 26th. May 24th, 2026.
Okay. 5/24/26. Thank you. And extension request for approval for case number 23-01. That's 150 Taylor Orange Urban Renewal LLC, 150 Taylor Street.
Attorney Webster is here again.
Good evening, Attorney Webster.
Mr. Chairman, this is a companion project to the one you just voted on. This is actually a for sale project consisting of multi-story townhomes. We're going to put 4 homes on the property. This project was memorialized by resolution dated May 24th, 2023, the same date as the last one. We're asking for the same 1-year extension for the same reason. And we would ask the board to grant us an extension through May 24th, 2026.
Thank you, sir.
And these are 4 townhomes for sale.
All right, is there a motion for the approval of this extension request?
motion for approval,
Motion from
Second.
Councilwoman Eason, second from Member Mobley. Any questions on the motion? Madam Secretary,
Mr. Chairman, Mayor Warren is here.
let the record show it's 7:53. Mayor Warren has arrived to the meeting. Good evening, sir.
Greetings.
Member Foston,
Yes.
Member Anuké,
Yes.
Member Mobley,
Yes.
Member Latour,
Yes.
Council Vice President Eason,
yes,
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Chairman Holmes, I'm sorry, Vice Chair Jones. What's
Yeah.
going on? Chairman Holmes, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Motion passes too quick.
And then we have an extension request for an approval for case number 22-02, 595 Lincoln Orange Urban Renewal LLC. That's 595 Lincoln Avenue.
Attorney Webster again.
Mr. Chairman, this is a pretty large project in town. It's a 5-story multifamily building consisting of 70 residential units and 72 off-street parking spaces. The application was approved and memorialized in a resolution dated May 24th, 2023. Since we received approval for this project, we've worked with the town to obtain a tax abatement. And as I understand, we've complied with all the resolution compliance issues in the last couple of weeks. Hoping the board secretary can co-sign that. And they expect to begin demolition. They've obtained final approvals from PSC&G for disconnections and perform the necessary rodent exterminations. Completed an oil tank sweep, submitted a soil erosion application. We work with I think they've already contacted DEP to inspect additional utility disconnections. I'm sorry, the DPW. And so we're on our way, but we would ask for another 1-year extension with this project. But it it should the project should begin demolition as soon as the weather breaks.
And what was the holdup? I'm sorry.
Just financing. We had to get a tax abatement. We had to get everything paid for. And then, just PSE&G, working to get all the items on resolution compliance that are necessary. The board places a lot of conditions on getting approvals. And financing these projects this time is a little bit tedious. Banking is a little bit, it's a little difficult right now.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, if I may, Attorney.
Madam
West,
Secretary.
what did you want me to confirm or?
I
address?
think I know you have a number of roles, but I know we spoke in the last couple of weeks about all the items in resolution compliance. And I just wanted to confirm that I think we've satisfied now all the items. My goal was to get everything satisfied on resolution compliance before I got here tonight. I'm hoping.
No, sir. 595 Lincoln has not completed resolution compliance. Our board engineer can confirm that as well.
Excuse me. Mr.
Ma-
Kane-Lane?
Madam Secretary, you said they have not?
They have not, no, sir.
Hmm.
Do we know what the open items are?
It has not, I have not received the resolution compliance packet to review. So it's still on, I haven't received that information.
And the board engineer is here to speak to that. Mr. Kane-Lane?
I can also confirm I have not received resolution compliance documents for that application.
Hmm.
So, Chairman Holmes,
Councilwoman Eason?
where is that resolution of compliance? Who are you waiting to give you that? So, hold up.
If I may?
Madam
Oh,
Secretary?
that's for the engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, is it possible I can have this resolution tabled till next month?
That'll
Or
be
the fol-
fine.
We have a couple of months before it expires. If possible, table it and then have it be approached again by the board once all the items of resolution compliance have been satisfied.
That will be perfect. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Mr.
Chairman
Thank you.
Holmes,
Do we have room
Councilwoman
on the
Eason.
agenda? Madam
Councilwoman
Secretary?
Eason?
Chairman Holmes,
Hold on 1 second, Councilwoman Eason. Madam Secretary, is there room on the agenda for next month or well, he has until May, right?
We have space.
Yeah, okay, all right. Councilwoman Eason?
I still didn't get my question answered from the engineer.
Could you repeat your question, Councilwoman?
Who is supposed to give the resolution of compliance?
Well, the resolution has been voted on and memorialized by you, the board. What then happens if there's any conditions in the professionals' reports or something that comes up in a meeting such as this, where the applicants' professionals, be it their engineer, architect, et cetera, need to modify something, they need to make those modifications and submit them through the board secretary to the board professionals for our review to confirm that they're in compliance with the resolution that the board memorialized.
Council Vice President, there are a whole list of conditions that the board placed on the application. We have to modify our plans and all our documents to comply with those conditions.
And then once you do, that goes to our secretary?
Correct. I submit them to the secretary. She submits them to your professionals, and then they give me a resolution of compliance, which allows me to go get a building permit.
Okay.
So I was under the belief that my office had gotten everything in. Apparently we haven't. So I apologize, and I'm going to ask for the board's indulgence to carry us for a month or two so we can get everything in. I thought we had done it already.
Yeah, because Attorney West, I just want to say, because this is like the second developer we've had for that property, and it's still sitting there as a blight. So we were hoping that you guys were going to get it moving because the last developer fell through. So I'm hoping that's not going to happen this time.
I'm told that everything is moving in the right direction. I'm told that financing is in place. I believed we had gotten everything in, but I'm looking my various text messages from my team, and they're saying we didn't get everything in. So it's a little embarrassing, but I guess it's what happened. I'd spoken to the board secretary. I'd spoken with the mayor. And they shared their sentiment that we needed to have everything done prior to asking for an extension. And I thought we would and we could, but apparently we didn't. So it's a little bit of a bad look on our part. But we're going to work in the next month or so to get it. So by the time we come back and ask for the extension, everything is done.
So I'll make a motion to table.
Thank you.
And
Second.
we have a motion to table and a motion to table from Councilwoman Eason and a second from Member Mobley. And I think we're doing all in favor. Are there any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone that opposes tabling this extension request?
Mr. Chair, I think you really need to do a voice vote.
Attorney Winslow?
On tabling it, I mean, it's really what this is it's Attorney Webster's
The request, yeah, from the
request
attorney. Yeah.
for to hold it over. It's just the board acknowledging that it's being tabled until such time as Attorney Webster's team is indicated to him that they're done, and he's going to provide that to Ms. Reyes. So I'm not sure that A, a vote is absolutely necessary, and B, I think a voice vote is, under the circumstances, is okay. Because you're not really taking any decision at this point.
So everyone's in favor. Is there anyone that opposes? Seeing none, the extension request has been tabled until the applicant or Attorney Webster is prepared. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize and it won't happen again.
Next up, we have the memorialize the resolution for case number 24-12. And Chris, Nike Chris, LLC, 551 Lincoln Avenue, preliminary and final major site plan approval. And if someone can help me with that.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, Madam Secretary.
In this resolution, Mayor Warren, Council Vice President Eason, and Member Mobley are not able to vote.
Warren, Eason, and
They were not present.
Mobley, okay. And how do you pronounce it, Madam Secretary?
That we're gonna go with NKE, Chris.
We go with NKE Chris. All
Yes.
right.
That's actually how I say it, Board Secretary.
Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion?
Motion.
We have a motion from Member Latour. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Vice Chair Jones. Are there any questions on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Secretary?
Member Foston,
Yes.
Member Anuké,
Yes.
Member Latour,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Holmes,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. And now we move to case number 25-01, B&O Urban Renewal Entity, LLC. That's 38-60 Berwyn Street for an amended preliminary and final site plan application with lot consolidation.
Attorney Webster is here.
And good evening, Attorney Webster.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. This is our third time before the board of this application. It's the third different iteration. Hopefully it's the final. We've worked with the town over the last couple of years to try to make it a school, and that didn't work. We worked with the town to buy some additional property to address some of the parking concerns, and that's worked. But the bottom line is that hopefully tonight is the last iteration. Our office represents B&O Urban Renewal with respect to the aforementioned property. The property is actually 38-60 Berwyn, 39 Berwyn, 31 Berwyn, 22 Webster Place, and 150 Oakwood Avenue. It's designated as Block 3202, Lots 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. In block 3203, lots 12, 16, and 17 on the tax maps of Orange. As I said, as you can recall, B&O was previously granted preliminary final site plan approval from this board to construct a mixed-use development, which included 173 residential units, ground floor commercial space, and off-street parking. The board's approval was memorialized by resolution dated September 25th, 2019. Thereafter, by resolution dated May 26, 2021. Board granted amended preliminary and final site plan approval to B&O for the modified building, which removed the commercial in its place, and the applicant proposed to construct 5 classrooms and 166 units above. Since that time, B&O Renewal has worked diligently with the city to finalize the negotiation of the project into a redevelopment agreement. B&O is the designated redeveloper of the site. We've obtained the tax abatement, and now we're submitting our final site plan. B&O is seeking to eliminate the previously proposed classrooms and return to its original design as 173 residential units over approximately 1,000 square feet of commercial space. The project includes 188 off-street parking spaces, 110 of which will be located on the site, and 79 of which will be located across the street on an adjacent site. With EV credit, the total parking spaces come to 205, where only 177 are required. We believe proper notice has been provided. We've provided the cards and certifications to the board secretary and to your council, and I'm hoping that they concur that this board has jurisdiction this evening.
I have received it.
Thank you. We propose to demolish 8 existing buildings on site and merge blocks 3202, lots 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 to construct a new 6-story mixed-use L-shaped building with 1,015 square feet of commercial space, 170 residential units, 110 off-street parking spaces. Tenant amenities will include include a clubhouse, a fitness room, a lobby, a multi-purpose room, a bike storage. The units are comprised of 41 studios, 91 one-bedroom units, and 36 two-bedroom units. A surface parking lot with 79 stalls is a proposed offsite at block 3203, lots 12, 16, and 17. The property is located within District F of the Central Orange redevelopment area and governed by the Central Orange redevelopment plan, where mixed-use buildings are permitted. The proposed surface parking lot is also permitted accessory use in the District F. There were variances granted by this board for the development of this mixed-use project. These variances remain in effect and we do not propose any changes to the proposed scope of the layout, which would intensify the relief that's already been granted. The previously approved relief is minimum front yard setback for the proposed building, minimum side yard setback for the trash enclosure, waivers for excessive fence height along Oakwood Avenue, excessive illumination on the adjacent property, and insufficient parking stall size. In addition to the previously approved relief, the applicant is seeking the following relief from the board. With respect to the mixed-use building, the applicant requests waivers from the plan's sustainability standards as requested for insufficient roof, deck, landscaping, and insufficient residential lot landscaping, where 15% is required and only 9.6% is proposed. With respect to the proposed off-site parking lot on Webster Place, variance relief is requested to permit excessive impervious coverage and insufficient landscape buffer. We have a number of design waivers we're also going to be requesting, and we'll go through those during our architectural testimony. I'm in receipt of a number of reports. I'm in receipt of a report from the Nishwain Group, Mr. Hazel, dated February 21, 2025. An engineering review letter from John Kelhane from CP Engineering, dated February 14, 2025. I have 4 witnesses this evening in support of the application. My first witness is Afton Savitz, PE from Stonefield. With the board's permission, I would ask that she be sworn in.
Okay, through you, Chair.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Savitz. Okay, there you are. Ms. Savitz, do you swear affirm to tell the truth for this planning board tonight?
I do, yes.
Okay, can you please do us the favor of stating and spelling your name for the record?
Sure. Afton Savitz, last name S-A-V as in violin, I-T-Z, Stonefield
Okay.
Engineering. Good.
Okay, Attorney Webster, we'll get Ms. Savitz qualifications.
Sure. Ms. Savitz, would you please provide the board with the benefit of your education, training, experience? Please also indicate whether or not you're licensed in New Jersey and you're licensed in good standing.
Sure. I earned a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from Bucknell University. I am licensed in the state of New Jersey. My license is in good standing. I have over 12 years of experience in the civil engineering field. Business address 92 Park Avenue, Rutherford, New Jersey, 07070. And I have experience in front of multiple land use boards, not this one specifically, but more recently, Belleville Planning Board, Essex Fells Zoning Board, East Orange, right next door, their planning board, West Orange Zoning Board as well.
Mr. Chairman, I would offer Ms. Savitz as an expert in civil engineering.
And just a quick, I didn't hear, and I apologize if I missed it. Your license is
It's
active, in good standing. Very good. Thank you. All right. Then this board will accept Ms. Savitz as expert in engineering, and Ms. Savitz, your testimony will be limited to that as an engineer. And before you proceed, Attorney Webster, you mentioned a letter from CP Engineering of February 14th, or did you say 18th?
I thought I said 14. That's what's in my note. Let me check and make sure. Let me go to the actual document and I'll tell you.
I have 14th as well.
I'm looking at a report from on the 18th. That's the only reason I'm asking.
Yep, let me just pull it up and make sure.
Yep.
14th.
The 14th for the engineer?
Yeah. I've got it as the 14th.
All right, I didn't go into Dropbox today. Okay, all right, we can proceed. I apologize.
Yep.
Right. So I will share my screen if I have the credentials to do so.
1 second.
Thank you.
Let's give the board the benefit of the existing condition, and then let's walk them through what the proposed condition orient everybody to the location of the property.
Certainly. So let me know when everyone can see this.
We can see it.
We're good.
Perfect. So I know to date we've submitted many materials. There's a rich history as it relates to this project, but all the materials have been separated in 2 packages as it relates to the mixed use building and then the accessory parking lot. So what you're seeing on the screen, and this hasn't been submitted to the board previously, so we'll mark this A1 for the record.
Correct.
Great. This is an aerial exhibit. It's prepared by our office and it's dated February 7th, 2025. So what you're seeing here is, again, aerial exhibit. And what this is showing is the extent of both parts of the project or the application before you this evening. As council mentioned, we have the mixed use building, which I'll circle with the cursor, which is southwest on Berwyn with frontage on Oakwood as well, comprised of block 3202, lots 4 through 10. And then we have the accessory parking lot, which is right across Berwyn Street to the north, which is comprised of lots 12, 16, and 17 on block 3203. The main difference, as council alluded to, the application has been before you previously. The mixed use building had a school component, which has since reverted back to the original design with ground floor retail, and the acquisition of 1 more property across the street as part of the accessory parking lot. In terms of the zoning district, the zone, it's all part of the redevelopment plan, or the Central Orange Redevelopment Plan District F, with the exception of the transition to that of East Orange, which is directly west along South Harrison Street. In terms of the general location, I'm sure most of us are familiar with Berwyn Street. At the end of it, Oakwood Avenue School. the Harrison Residential District at the other end, at the eastern end of Berwyn Street as well. Just off the page beyond Central Avenue is Irvin Orange Park. And just north beyond the interstate, we have Brick Church, the East Orange train station. Locally, there are bus stations that are located to the northeast, also along Central Avenue and South Harrison Street. In addition, as mentioned, the train station generally in the surrounding area within the municipality, everything is within the same redevelopment area, residential to the east, and a mix between educational, religious, and residential uses surrounding in the orange proximity or within the orange jurisdiction. I'll zoom in a little bit just to show a little bit clearer the aerial as it relates to existing conditions. Again, circling with my cursor, the bold black lines with the double dots, those are indicative of the outermost property line for the application. So along the southern portion, that's where the mixed use building will go. And again, the parking lot will be across the way. In terms of access frontage, where these blocks are located, there's frontage for Berwyn Street, which is under local jurisdiction, approximately 100 linear feet for the parking lot, 326 for that of the mixed use building. And for Oakwood, again, similarly under local jurisdiction, 277 linear feet for the mixed use building. Continuing up on Webster Place, there is a connection with access for the parking lot on Webster Place, 60 linear feet in terms of that frontage. Beyond that, you'll note the freeway that you can connect through to, but direct access is that on Webster. In terms of existing structures that are on the property, to the south, the larger composition of lots, there are 6 apartment buildings unoccupied on this lot. I'm sure you'll notice on Oakwood Avenue, there's a construction fence or a silt fence that's up that borders that western property line. And to the north, along the 3 lots on Berwyn Street, there are a couple single-family structures and then a vacant lot or an undeveloped lot as it exists along Webster. In terms of notable existing conditions as it relates to these sites, to the south, predominantly comprised of rectangular parcels that fit together quite nicely as it relates to a larger rectangle. In terms of frontages, access, there is sidewalk, there is curb, arguably in fair condition along the properties as it exists today. In terms of stormwater, there's city infrastructure that exists in the roadways or at the corner of Oakwood and Berwyn, but on site, there isn't any stormwater management that exists. Again, I'll zoom out just for the board's reference as to where this project is. My subsequent materials, some of it splits them up. It may rotate it. I do have an exhibit that keeps them together. I know the board engineer alluded to understanding the connectivity across the street to ensure pedestrian safety, but as it relates to existing conditions, I will transition from that to my next exhibit to touch on the proposed conditions. So this will mark as A2. It is an overall site plan exhibit prepared by our office. It's dated February 25th, 2025. And it's somewhat of a similar orientation where you have on the bottom, the mixed use building and the parking lot across the way. Any material that's been submitted to you, for the most part, this probably looks like it's flipped upside down as it relates to the mixed use building, but I think it tells a nice story as to how, if you're parking across the street, you get to the building and vice versa. From here, I'll show some things in color, and I'll of course leave the architect to show pretty pictures as well, but this shows you the interconnectivity of both portions of the development. As mentioned, and I think council did a good job touching on it as I'm circling with my cursor, this is the mixed use building. As it exists, as it was previously designed with very little change from the prior application. 173 residential units, 1,013 square feet of retail. Again, when I zoom in here, you'll notice from the site plan sheets that you're familiar with, it is flipped 180 degrees. So the retail is at this corner, closer to Berwyn and Oakwood. There's access as proposed off of Berwyn Street into a portion of covered parking with redundant access back out to Oakwood that's divided. In terms of parking, again, as mentioned, there's 110 parking spaces on the lot where the mixed-use building is. And then across the street, comprised of the 3 lots to the north, there are a total of 39 parking spaces, 39 parking spaces in this section and then 39 parking spaces in this section. We do note the site plan incorrectly notes 36 for the composition of lots 16 and 17 when it should be 39. So all total 180 spaces being provided with sufficient parking, independent of any of the EV credits that goes towards that. In terms of access to the parking lot, you'll probably recall that the previous application did have parking similarly along the Webster side, where prior to acquisition of the separate lot, there wasn't sufficient width in order to fit parking to the south, and now there is. So we have access off of Berwyn Street. We have a 2-way driveway that I'll circle with my cursor along the eastern side, and then an egress only. And similarly, because there isn't vehicular interconnectivity between the 2 parking spaces, there's a full access off of Webster as well. It is worth noting that the 2 spaces share a lot line, approximately 4 feet in width were clear in order for pedestrian travel between the 2, as proposed. Mentioned access for the mixed use building, and again, I'll just zoom out, scroll over a little bit. Access to the garage or the covered portion of the parking, which I'll highlight in this rectangular region. It is controlled by a roll-up door. You'll hear more from the architect on that. And then similarly, where you're entering and exiting off of Oakwood, the site plan shows the lever gates that go up as you approach them for secure access as well. And the accessory parking lot, though not indicated on the site plan, will do the same in terms of those controlled access. Some of the notable improvements for this property, for this project, are really that of the streetscape, the pedestrian connectivity as it relates to both of the projects and then the nearby surroundings. So regarding the mixed-use building, the parking lot, all of the streetscape that's along Oakwood, along Berwyn Street, new curb, new sidewalk. You'll note there is a crosswalk as well. I'll zoom in a little bit just to note it because it was somewhat unclear based on submitting separate documents to the board. But there is a crosswalk that allows for safe egress across Berwyn Street, and then all of the streetscape along both frontages, complete with street trees, is proposed to be improved. Again, very similar to the original application as it relates to the improvements. Retail, I know the board engineer notes in the letter received about loading for retail. It's a little difficult to tell. I'll circle with my cursor. There is a loading space that's indicated on street in support of the retail space. We are seeking relief as it relates to the physical striping of the loading space, 8 feet wide by 25 foot long, or 10 foot wide by 10 foot wide by 25 feet long is required. But it's worth noting there's striping on either side of this space. So in terms of vehicles, whether they're dropping off for Amazon packages, mail, they can certainly pull in. And when you add the striping on either side of it, that length that you yield can take a box truck, a small box truck as well. So while slightly smaller than at least as striped as the ordinance contemplates, we have designed, worked closely with the architect, with the traffic engineer to provide adequate loading. In addition, so I'll focus, I will continue to focus on the parking lot as well. As mentioned by council, there is relief as it relates to impervious coverage. Again, one of the design constraints for this parking lot, especially previously, was how can we fit more parking in discussion with the city to support the application. And we've worked to do that where we can. Again, the lot is narrow. There are some limitations as it relates to the overall width, but we've balanced the parking supply, the impervious coverage, the landscaping to the best of our ability. In terms of lot and proposed impervious coverage, When you think about both of the parking areas together, against the ordinance where 90% is required, a max impervious coverage, 91.3% is being proposed. In terms of screening, along the property lines of all of the parking lot exists either a wall or an existing fence that will provide screening. We do note, as mentioned, there's relief for that of buffer screening with or providing a buffer off of the property line. In this case, again, based on balancing the parking, balancing the pedestrian trespass in conjunction with that. In terms of stormwater management, I mentioned that under existing conditions, all the rainfall flows over the property, over any paved area into the right of way and eventually the city infrastructure system today. Both properties, I kind of treat them as three, just knowing that the parking lots are somewhat separate. We'll all have stormwater management improvements. They will collect the water and slow it down, not to mention treat it to ensure that the motor vehicle surfaces, any water that's traveling over them is cleaned. From a utility standpoint, parking lot only has lighting, and then what's required for operation of any gates on the property. So new electric will be proposed and fed through close coordination with the utility provider. And the lights on the property, similar to that of the mixed use building, they're LED, they're downward facing, they're dark sky compliant in an effort to distribute a uniform lighting design. In the parking lot, there are pole lights. Again, in terms of any trespass beyond the property line, those existing fences, those walls are preventing that as well. I'll also go so far as to clarify for the mixed use building. I know we mentioned the relief that was previously granted regarding the foot candles as it relates to property line conditions. Those locations are in the right of way. So any of the interior property lines where you're abutting a neighbor, there's a proposed fence, not to mention no trespass as part of the proposed design. Again, I know I haven't shown anything individual to the mixed use building or that of the parking lot. I do think they tell a nice story together, so I'll leave this screen up here. This does conclude my direct testimony as it relates to civil engineering, but I'm happy to answer any questions from the board, the professionals, or the public.
Mr. Holmes, I don't have any further questions for this witness. To the extent that we've completed our case in chief, I'll yield the witness to your hands.
Okay, then I will ask any board member if you have any questions for Ms. Savitz. Seeing none, hearing none. Thank you, Ms. Savitz, for your testimony.
Thank you.
My next witness is my architect, and his
I'm right here, Stephen Tiki.
Stephen Tiki, and Stephen is it's a little dark, Stephen. I don't know if
Yeah, I apologize. I was trying to adjust my camera, but this is as bright as it's getting.
It seems to be a theme with Attorney Webster. He's got this very dramatic
Mood
background.
lighting.
Yeah, mood lighting. So I guess that goes along with his professionals.
Yeah,
But
I apologize.
all right. So all right, Stephen. Okay, gotcha. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth for this planning board tonight?
I do.
Okay. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Stephen, Stephen, Tiki, Tietke.
Okay, and let's get Mr. Tiki's qualifications on briefly.
Mr. Tiki, would you please provide the board with the benefit of your education, your training? Please indicate that your license is a New Jersey license is in good standing.
Yes, I hold a bachelor's of architecture from Drexel University. I graduated in the year 2000, and I'm a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey, and my license is in good standing. And I've provided testimony before boards across the state, including, I believe, before this board for the amended approval that we were discussing.
Mr. Chair, I would offer Mr. Tiki as a expert in architecture.
Mr. Tiki, just a question. You've been practicing since 2000, is that what you said?
I've been licensed, I think, since 2012. But yeah, I've received my my degree into the year 2000.
Okay, thank you. And what boards have you presented before?
I presented before this board. I presented in Saddle River, Harrison, Randolph, Bayonne, West Windsor.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, then this board will accept you as an expert in architecture. And Mr. Tiki, your testimony will be limited to that as an architect.
Thank you. If I could share my screen. Why is this not letting me share?
You're allowed to share.
Thank you. I'm just having trouble getting the share to work, unfortunately.
It's the lighting.
Yeah. All right. Bear with me a second. All right. So what I have on the screen before you is a colored elevation, a version of the elevation that was submitted. I believe this would be a new exhibit, so I think this would be Exhibit A3.
Correct.
And I'll just provide a very brief overview of the project as we're looking at this.
Let's give the title for A3. This is a what?
Sure. This is it's just called Berwyn Street Elevation, and it's dated February 26, 2025.
Okay.
And this is the same elevation that was in black and white in the submitted package. We've just added color for this presentation. And I'll just speak briefly about the project. As we discussed, we're seeking amended site plan approval for a project that was previously consisted of 166 residential dwelling units, parking and amenities at the first floor, and approximately 7,000 square feet of educational use. The general building footprint, as discussed, will remain as previously approved. However, we're proposing the following changes. The number of dwelling units is increased from 166 to 173. We previously had loft-style units at the sixth floor, and those loft-style units have been eliminated. The 7,000 square foot educational use is no longer proposed at the first floor, and instead we're proposing resident amenity and support spaces, a leasing office, 8 dwelling units at that first floor, and an approximately 1,000 square foot retail space. And we've reduced the building height. Previously, the building height was 81'6", and we've reduced it to 75 feet. As you can see here, these building elevations incorporate a mix of brick, veneer, and fiber cement and plank siding in shades of gray, and we've added 2 accent colors. I will move now to the floor plans. At the first floor, as we discussed, we provide an entry lobby, fitness room, clubhouse, game room, mail room, and leasing. We include 8 dwelling units at this first floor, a retail space and services, the refuse room, bike storage, meter rooms, and we have some covered parking as well as surface parking. On the upper floors, we have a mix of just strictly units, and we've incorporated a multi-purpose room at every floor. There's also a refuse collection room at every floor that'll have a trash chute that communicates down to the refuse room at grade. And at the roof, we're proposing a rooftop deck. The unit count would now go back to the original approval, which is 173 units, and we're proposing 41 studio units, 96 one-bedroom units, and 36 two-bedroom units. I'll go back quickly to the parking level plan because as we were discussing, in the civil engineer's testimony, we are providing a roll-up door at the entry to the garage for security, and there are two arm gates at the surface parking entry. That's really my architectural testimony, unless anybody has any specific questions for me.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any further questions on this for this witness.
Mr. Tiki, can you speak to the, I'm sorry, go ahead, Vice Chair Jones.
Oh, I was just wondering, what was the rationale for removing the school space from this?
The school space, well, that I think that was negotiated between the developer and the city. And I'll be honest, I don't know the particulars. Okay.
Thank you. The architect doesn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make it a good guess.
I can tell you, we originally had a plan that required, that didn't have any of the school space. During our conversations with the municipality about obtaining a tax abatement, we were introduced to the concept of working with the school board. After quite some time, going back and forth and designing the space and actually getting site plan approval from this board, the school board determined that they didn't need the classrooms. We met with the Board of Education, we met with the superintendent and their leadership, and they decided that we did not need it. At that point, we met with the mayor and the council, and they agreed that there was not going to be, we didn't need to put any classrooms in there, so we went back to our original plan. And then interim, we obtained a tax abatement, which doesn't require us to have the school. And so that's why we're back to where we were. We're back to the original plan. So it went, I think the town wanted us to do it, and then the school board didn't want it. So we kind of got ahead of ourselves, and we're now back to the original plan.
Is there any thought about what type of retail will be?
I mean, it's only 1,000 feet. It's a small building. It's probably some kind of coffee shop, some kind of, it's not going to be much. It's very small. It's probably most likely going to be a coffee shop.
Attorney Webster, just for clarity, did you say the board, the school board did not want or need, or was it the applicant that did not want or need?
Oh, no, the applicant was happy to have the classrooms. We were fine. We made the changes. The school board declined. I'll say it again. The school board declined.
Okay, thank you. What were the dates on the drawings, Mr. Tiki?
The date on my drawings? My
Yeah,
drawings.
the ones you just presented, yes.
Yes. The exhibit A3 was dated February 26, 2025. And then the drawings that I presented were dated November 1st, 2024.
And the ones that are dated November 21st are the ones that were submitted to the board.
Yes, that's correct.
Right. It was the ones that you showed today. That's putting this question. And then can you speak to the dwellings on the first floor? How many rooms, what does the dwellings look like on the first floor that you identified?
Why don't you show the first floor, Steve?
Yeah.
You can
Oh,
share
it says share disabled.
All right.
Ms.
1 second.
Ms. Reyes was running a tighter ship. I see this.
Absolutely. Cut you off in a minute.
I had a hard time getting into the meeting.
Okay.
Are you able to share now?
Yes,
Okay.
I am. The units on the first floor are typical of the units throughout the building. So we have one studio unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 one-bedroom units, and 1 two-bedroom unit at this level. And I can zoom in if you'd like to see the layouts.
I'm sorry, how many two-bedroom?
There's 1 two-bedroom at this level.
One, okay.
Right. And the remainder are 1 studio, and then the other 6 are one-bedroom units.
And what do those dwelling, what do they consist of? Is there a washer, dryer?
Yes, yes, all the units have their own dedicated washer dryer. They have their own kitchen. They have their own bathrooms. The studio units have a PTAC unit that provides HVAC, and then the 1 and 2 bedroom units have what we call a magic pack unit, but it's a centralized HVAC system that's specific to that unit.
But
So each
unit has its own washer and dryer.
Yes,
and each unit is able to control its own AC
temperature
efficiency.
and air. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Member Foston.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think that my question, because of the population, the town population is going up because of those so many units added to the city town, and I thought that the adding some more classroom would be a good thing, but it seems not the case. And this is why I encourage the developers to work with the appropriate cities authorities and public officials before they engage to certain staff, because if they work with the Board of Education, this plan would come before us for a third time. So it is the same thing we encourage when the traffic engineer to work with the police department when it comes to the traffic studies, and for Anthony Webster, I don't know whether since you propose to add some additional classroom, where the town proposing some incentive for adding classroom or not?
Okay.
If I could jump in, Mr. Chairman.
Mayor Warren? Attorney
Just to
Wenzel will get
answer,
ready to- I think Attorney Wenzel, go ahead, Mayor Warren.
if he has a judicial ruling, I'll certainly abide by it.
Attorney Wenzel?
Right. So let me say this. I think Attorney Webster had already indicated why this matter is back here in regard to a prior question. The applicant is proceeding forward with a use that is allowed in the district, and with the current set of circumstances. So whatever was planned before, to not put words into Attorney Webster's mouth, I would never try to do that, but basically whatever was planned before did not come to fruition. So now they are proceeding differently. So whatever had occurred, that's outside the board's jurisdiction. What this developer did with, or attempted to do with the school board, that's the developer's call. But in terms of what's presented to you today is this current application, which is, and I believe you have Mr. Hazel's report indicating that the use is allowed in the district. So what had occurred outside the parameters of the planning board are really not jurisdictionally appropriate before the planning board at this time.
And what made them believe that they could add some classroom in this project?
There was a prior, and once again, I don't mean to put words into Attorney Webster's mouth, but they had, if you remember, They had a prior application which included classrooms. That did not come to fruition, and now we're back here today with a revision. The developer has had plans change. I'm sure the developer, most developers, and I wouldn't assume that this developer, most developers don't like to have these things sitting out for a long period of time. So I am pretty sure that this developer is very interested in getting this project done at this point. And that's why they need to go back to, and once again, this is what Attorney Webster said, so that they need to go back to a different plan. So whatever had occurred between the developer and the school board and all that, it didn't come to fruition for whatever reason.
Mayor Warren, does that address the concern you had?
I just wanted to emphasize to the board member that the city and the developer put extensive time, plans, and effort into creating academic space, classroom space for the Board of Education, and invited the Board of Education into those meetings, accepted plans from them, their input, took them on visits, allowed them to go into the numbers of where they may need students. And at the end of that entire effort, the board decided that they did not need the school space that was going to be provided. We did emphasize that it was going to be done free of charge at the expense of the developer. That would have been something that they would be contributing to this project for the community. The space was going to be flexible for classroom space for early elementary and also for early childhood development space as well. They did not want to be involved in it. There's a certain member in particular who made the process difficult, such that the board did not want to do it. I think Mr. Tarver was part of that process, and ultimately decided not to do it. I don't know what went into their thinking, but it was available to them. It was negotiated. It was agreed upon. Resources were put behind it, and the Board of Ed chose not to do it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from any board member? All right, Mr. Tiki, thank you. I think that's where we were, right?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, my last witness this evening is Mr. Graviano. He's my planner.
Mr. Webster, did you have 4 or 3?
I'm gonna cancel one.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure. I made it that far in law school where we counted the 4, so.
Change my mind.
Okay. All right, Mr. Graviano. Wow, there you go. There you are again. Do you swear firm to tell the truth for this planning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
All right, please state and spell your name for the record.
Yes, my first name is Nicholas with an H, last name Graviano, G-R-A-V as in Victor, I-A-N-O. I'm a planner and partner with the firm of Graviano and Gillis Architects and Planners at a business address of 101 Crawford's Corner Road in Holmdel, New Jersey.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ordeer Mr. Graviano and get him qualified as an expert. Mr. Graviano, would you please provide the board with the benefit of your education and training?
Sure.
And,
Certainly. I hold a bachelor's degree from Rutgers University, a master's degree in city and regional planning from Rutgers University, a law degree from the Temple University School of Law, where I received a distinguished class performance in state and local government law. I am a professional planner in the state of New Jersey, also hold an AICP certification. I've been previously qualified by this board, as well as over 100 other boards in 18 different counties.
Mr. Graviano, is your license in good standing?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Holmes, I would offer Mr. Graviano as an expert in planning in New Jersey.
Mr. Graviano, how long have you been certified in New Jersey?
Since 2003.
Thank you.
Longer than I'd like to acknowledge at this juncture of my career.
I understand. It's like asking a woman their age. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for and then this board will accept you as an expert in planning, and your testimony will be limited to that as a planner.
Thank you, Chairman. Pleasure being here tonight.
Other than the Temple University, we really like Mr. Graviano's background. We like Rutgers Law School has been perfect, you know.
That's it, exactly.
Listen, I was poor. I had to go at night. Temple had a good night program.
Mr. Graviano, you've had a chance to listen to the testimony, my opening. I know there are a few variances that you covered the last time we had this hearing, and there are a couple, I guess, ones that we need to address tonight. I'm asking you to address the variances and waivers so that we can have them on the record. The board can consider them as part of their final deliberation.
Certainly. I won't get into some of the specifics of the neighborhood and surrounding area. The applicant's engineer did a great job of describing the surrounding neighborhood, a mixture of various types of residential dwellings, houses of worship, and educational facilities. This is a site which is within close proximity to 2 train stations. It's the central goal of the Central Orange Redevelopment Area Plan District F to provide multifamily housing within the proximity to train stations. This is certainly a project which is befitting of the redevelopment plan, as well as the goals and objectives of the Orange Master Plan, which was adopted in 2018. Just quickly highlighting the variance relief or the waiver relief, which is being requested this evening. The applicant is requesting relief from the landscaping requirement, whereas 15% is required and 9.6% is proposed for the roof deck and site landscaping. Additionally, the applicant is requesting relief for the off-site surface parking lot impervious coverage, whereas it's a rather de minimis relief being requested. It's only over by 1% and change. Additionally, the applicant's requesting relief for the landscape buffer. As you heard the applicant's engineer indicate, these parking areas are bound by either fences and/or walls. So the spirit of screening the visual impacts from the parking lots is being maintained by those structures. Additionally, the applicant's requesting a waiver to allow an insufficient parking area setback from the right-of-way, where 25 feet is required and 7.5 feet is proposed. The applicant is providing a landscaping package to provide screening in that area. Additionally, a waiver is being required for insufficient distance from the entrance and exit of a parking area to the adjacent lot. 2.5 feet is proposed and 20 feet is required. Once again, the fence and walls will serve to provide that buffering. Lastly, the applicant requires relief from the parking stall size, which has been previously granted by this board as part of the prior application. The applicant's proposing spaces which certainly can accommodate the off-street parking needs of the proposed development. There is no substantial impairment to the redevelopment plan, zoning ordinance, or the master plan. With the relief requested in relation to the parking lot buffering and impervious surfaces, the 2018 master plan, one of the core goals of the land use section is to ensure ample parking in high-density residential and commercial areas. And I think the applicant's desire to go above and beyond the parking standards which are set forth in the redevelopment plan certainly help justify the variances being requested this evening. Relief certainly could be granted as per the C2 variance requirement, whereas it advances purposes of zoning of the municipal land use law, specifically Purpose A, promotion of the general health, safety, and welfare. This is a project which is advancing the redevelopment plan and providing a building which is within the spirit of what the redevelopment plan proposes. Additionally, it helps advance Purpose G to provide sufficient space and appropriate location for a variety of residential and commercial uses to meet the needs of New Jersey citizens. And lastly, through the impeccably designed site plan by Stonefield and the architectural plans by Sonnenfeld and Trocchia, the desirable visual environment and good civic design and arrangement is advanced through Purpose I, the municipal land use law.
Thank you, Mr. Graviano. Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions for this witness.
Thank you. I'll open it up to the board. members, if anyone have any questions for Mr. Graviano?
Chairman Holmes,
Councilwoman Eason?
I think I have three, I don't know. So do we have provisions for living superintendent and security?
Mr. Graviano, that question's for you.
I think that's more appropriate for applicant's counsel and or the architect.
Yes, we have a super, and we have security. We have security cameras at every entrance. And I can't remember, I think we have spoken with the police department and given them access to our codes. I think that's part of the deal. So we have the normal array of security cameras at every entrance and on the roof, in the hallways, the elevators. It's the typical security array that's installed in every one of these new developments. In addition, we have a roll-up gate. We have a key fob system for both. In the adjacent parking lots also have key fob systems, so you can't get in unless you have a fob.
And we'll keep it with the rule of thumb that we'll have one parking space per apartment with no extra charge.
Yes.
Okay.
There's no.
And
there's-
make sure that's in the memorialization so that we have it in writing.
Yep. Absolutely.
Attorney Webster, just for clarity, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Should have mentioned it. I knew that was something you would ask.
Attorney Webster, for clarity, did you say that there is an on-site live-in super?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Graviano? Seeing none? Thank you for your testimony, sir.
Thank you, board.
Attorney Webster?
Mr. Chairman, I have no further witnesses for my case in chief. I'm happy to
Okay.
hear from experts and the public and address whatever questions they might have. Witnesses are.
Thank you. Okay, since we finished with your planner, we'll start with ours. Mr. Hazel?
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and the members of the board.
Good evening.
We're
We're just gonna wait for Mr. Attorney Wenzel to swear you in. Thank you.
All right. Do you swear firm tell the truth for this planning board tonight?
I do.
Okay.
Excuse my voice. I'm for some reason losing it. Just not to be repetitive, you have my report, which goes into much detail about what is being proposed by the applicant. This I've had the fortune of being here for all three of the iterations of this application, and this is very much returning back to the original. The one thing that I emphasize on my report, that the biggest change, if you will, I mean, over what was originally proposed, is the adding or expanding of the accessory parking. The getting that extra lot next to the Berwyn fronting lot has opened the opportunity to provide substantially more parking. Before, the Berwyn lot was just used as a walkthrough to the parking lot on the street, on the Webster Street, Webster Place behind. But this way now you have parking on both accessory lots. I think it will add some life and some vitality to that area in terms of having people walking back and forth to the parking areas, not to mention just the filling the need for parking, which, as we know, is always a very critical issue in and around this area. The variances that the applicant is requesting in terms of the buffering, and so it's basically a trade-off. Putting the required buffering and so in would substantially reduce the capacity of each of these lots, and I think the number of spaces that are going to be lost would make it. You have to start questioning the rationale behind it. I think by having the landscaping that is proposed, the trees, etc., and the fencing that has been described and proposed will help to provide the type of screening that would be effective in that area. One question I wanted to ask, just to confirm one way or the other, is with the security that's being proposed for the site, is there any contemplation of cameras on the parking lots, the accessory lots?
I don't think we did, but we can add them as a part of the.
Yeah, I wasn't giving an opinion one way or the other. I just wanted to know, just for clarity's sake. It would be helpful, obviously, if you do have that another set of eyes on the street.
I agree. We'll put cameras on both lots.
Beyond that, I don't have anything else to add. As I said, much of this was ready. Most of this cake was baked already, and this change now is relatively minor compared to the rest of the project that was already vetted by the board and approved. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Hazel?
Chairman Holmes,
Councilwoman Neeson?
just a quick question. I don't know who can answer this, but has either of you had a conversation with the pastor of the church, because there's a new pastor there now? Have any of you went over to talk to him and met with him about this new construction? Because whatever you do is going to impact that church at some level. So I think you need to have an understanding with the pastor, give him some ideas what you guys are planning. Because I think his parking lot abuts the property in the back.
I don't know if we have Council Vice President, but I will make sure that we do this week.
I think that you definitely have to do that.
Understood.
Thank you.
Mr. Hazel, in your report, regarding the accessory off-site parking, you identified 3 lots.
Mm-hmm.
I think I missed one.
Yeah, at Berwyn, well, at the originally when the accessory parking was proposed under the last amendment, there were just 2 lots, and now I'm trying to remember which ones they were.
Yeah.
But where you have the
Afton, can you
Attorney Webster?
Yeah, Afton, can you share your screen? Let me let Afton share the site plan so you can see the original lots on Berwyn adjacent to our main property. It was one thin lot,
Right,
which
and now
now
you've
is
got the one
a
next door.
parking lot. So it's lots 12 and 16 are now together. If
Gotcha. It was 12 and 16. That's right.
If you can come down.
Yeah.
We acquired, see the original. Yeah, see the original, we had lot 12 and 16.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Lot
All right.
17. So we didn't have 17 originally.
Yes, I see it now.
16
Yeah.
wide enough to park, so it was just pass through to get to lot 12. And so now we've got the whole thing.
All right. Thank you. I thought I caught Mr. Hazel, but he's always on point. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Any other questions for Mr. Hazel? All right, sir. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Mr. Kahilane?
John, do you swear firm to tell the truth for this planning board tonight? John?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Yep. So sorry, it raised Zoom raised my own hand for me. Wasn't sure if I hit that button somehow, and was working on that. Excuse me. Good evening, everyone. I will keep it brief as well. I have not had the opportunity to be here for every revision, but I've had more than enough time before the meeting and at the technical review committee to get familiar. The board has my report as well. The one item I will mention on that is a correction I have to make for myself. There is a typographical error on page 4 in the off-street parking requirements table. The value of 90% is actually for the building coverage in this area of the redevelopment plan. The total impervious coverage allowable is 95%. So there's not a variance condition for impervious coverage on those properties as a whole. And then the applicant's professionals covered the various testimony items in my report. In particular, I believe it's Exhibit A2 with the crosswalk. That was very helpful for me in determining the location of the crosswalk relative to the vehicular ingress and egresses. And the one question that I had that came up during testimony with the, we'll call them gates on the off-street parking area, is there sufficient room for a vehicle to queue as those, particularly as they raise for a vehicle coming off the roadway into the parking area?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I believe the question is as it relates to entry, is it specific to one portion of the property or the mixed use building or the parking lot, or
But
do you mind repeating?
primarily the parking lot. The mixed use building appears to show an area off the street where a vehicle could queue to wait for the gate, just since the gates aren't on the parking lot drawings themselves.
We haven't located them yet. The sidewalk is about 10 feet wide, and then you get another, I think it's 7.5 feet until you get to the first parking space. So we can certainly work with you to ensure that where they're located provides for that car length, knowing that there is only one two-way access off of Berwyn and one egress where that condition wouldn't be applicable.
Great, thank you. And that's all I have, unless the board has any questions for me.
All right. Thank you, sir. Are there any questions for Mr. Kane-Lane? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony.
Thank
you. At this time, I entertain a motion to open the public portion of this application.
Motion to open public portion.
We have a motion from Vice Chair Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Councilwoman Eason. Are there any questions on the motion?
Mr. Chairman, just let
Councilwoman?
Let the public know they can raise their hand in the reaction button so that you can recognize, they can be recognized.
And Councilwoman, I'll even tell them that they have a 2-minute limit, time limit, okay?
All right.
Thanks. All right, all in favor? Say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, is there anyone that opposes opening the public portion of this application? Seeing none? Public portion is now open. If there's anyone that would like, from the public that would like to speak to this application, I ask that you first turn on your camera, unmute yourself, state your name and your address, and any concern that you may have. First up, I see Rachel Tennant, and Madam Secretary, I'm going to ask that you help me out if you can. Rachel Tennant, if you can unmute yourself.
Yes, Rachel Tennant, 461 Waverly Place. Regarding the tax abatement, was that approved on the old plans that had the classrooms? Or was that approved on the revised plans without the classrooms? And
Revised plans.
excuse me?
The revised plans without the classroom.
Without the classroom. Okay, how many?
Just for clarity, I'm going to ask everyone to whoever would like to speak to this application, please ask your question so you can get your full 2 minutes, and then we can have people address or answer the questions that you may have.
Okay.
Right.
How many years tax abatement did you ask for? Are there any stoplights on Berwyn or speed bumps? Would that be added if needed? Is the building ADA compliant to include automatic door openers? And how far, what's the width of the sidewalk in front of the building? And the reason why I'm asking that, there's a building in West Orange, 161 Main Street to be exact. And when ice forms on top of the building, when it starts to melt, that ice starts to come crashing down. And the only way to avoid that, to be wiped out by the ice falling, is either to walk very close to the building, almost hugging the building, or walking closer to the street. It's difficult to walk in the middle of the sidewalk. If you want a concussion, maybe yes, but if you want to avoid being wiped out by ice falling. So is there anything in place on top of the building that would prevent the ice from falling down to the sidewalk? And one more thing I would love, but I'm not sure this is the right forum. With all these tax abatements, we definitely need to put some stop gaps. 5 years. If you maintain your property, then the city should consider extending that. You know, that way we protect our residents, so these buildings won't turn into ghettos. And one more thing quickly, I have a family member that moved into a brand new apartment. My goddaughter, actually, brand new apartment 3 years ago in another state. Over the summer, she moved into what she calls a newer building. So that's how we turn things into ghettos. People just have the ability to move because something else newer and shiny is in town, and they move. There's really no loyalty because there's a lot of inventory, especially in Orange. Thank you.
That's your time, Ms. Tennant.
Thank you, all done.
And just for the record, this board doesn't deal with the abatements, taxes, any issues with the taxes. So I don't know if Attorney Windsor wants to say anything else to that, or.
I was just asking for the years, how many years they applied for. Thanks.
Yeah, right. So 2 things. Yeah, thank you, Chairman. So pilots are not negotiated here. They are negotiated with the city council. So it's not something that's before this council, this planning board. But I leave it up to Attorney Webster to answer. There was a myriad of other questions asked. So I think Attorney Webster probably can be best at responding to those.
Building is fully ADA compliant. Afton, I don't know how wide is the sidewalk in front of the building?
So the sidewalk in front of the building, or better put, how far the building roof or edge is set back, ranges between 10 to 20 feet. The building roof is flat, to my knowledge. I can't speak to the architecture design beyond that, but there is adequate horizontal separation if you were to walk on the sidewalk.
I think that answers all the questions.
There was a question regarding speed bumps.
To the extent that that's required by the municipal engineer, we will comply.
All right, thank you. And next up, Brent Engel. If you can unmute yourself and state your name and address and your concern.
Brent Engel, 174 Haywood Avenue. I have a question regarding the parking sizes, width or length where the variance was granted. My only concern there is basically if the width was reduced, you're going to get an awful lot of dings and dents on the cars. And if there's a variance on the length, I mean, cars are getting smaller, but, you know, there are some who still, you know, have longer vehicles, and there could be some issues there as well. So I'm just curious as to what those, what was agreed upon in the previous renditions of these plans. Thank you.
The parking variance that's being requested is a reduction from 9 by 20 to 9 by 18. 9 by 18 is the standard residential site improvement standard. Orange has an antiquated ordinance that requires 9 by 20, and this variance is routinely granted in this municipality, so that the 9 by 18, which is the state standard, is allowed.
Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak to this application? Keisha Joyner? You could turn your camera on.
Hello.
Can you turn your camera on, please?
It's slow.
State
There you
your
go.
name and your address, please. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Keisha Joyner, KISHAJOYNER. I'm live at 536 Liberty Street in Orange, New Jersey. I'm a member of Union Baptist Church, which is adjacent to the Berwyn Street property. And I want to thank Councilwoman Easton for mentioning the to reach out to the pastor. Yes, Reverend Freeman has emeritus, and Reverend Clarence Smith is our interim pastor. So if we just contact, if the attorney would just contact the church office, we can make arrangements for that to happen, because that is important, because we wanted to hear more about this, and I'm glad that I was able to join this evening to hear as much as I have.
Ms. Joyner, I think I've met with you before, haven't I? I mean, it was years ago.
Yes, you met at the church with us. Yes. Yeah, so if you would just contact the church office, the church secretary will work with you to set up a time to speak with the interim pastor and pastor emeritus.
I will reach out tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public?
Mr. Chairman, this is a person under iPhone 2.
iPhone 2.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it.
You have-
iPhone 2, if you can unmute. And Ms. Joyner, if you can put your hand down.
Try it again to unmute.
iPhone 2, you're still on mute. And Ms. Joyner, your hand is still raised on your screen. Thank you. We don't hear you yet, iPhone 2.
Can you hear me now?
Now we hear you.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Seleshi, and I'm from 16 Webster Place, which is real close to where you guys are talking about. And I
Miss
was just
Rebecca, I'm sorry, Rebecca, can you, your last name? Can you spell your last
Seleshi,
name?
Sileshi.
Thank you.
I just only have one question in regards to the parking lot that's going to be on Webster Place. You mentioned that parking lot would be that like the extra parking lot for the people on the resident of Berwyn, or is it to the general public? I just misunderstood it.
No, it's a private parking lot. It's not for.
Okay. So it's only for private.
Yes.
So it's pertaining to the buildings that you're doing on Berwyn.
Correct.
Okay. That's all I was trying to. I was just trying to figure out. I was concerned about traffic from the, people coming from different areas and coming because the street is primarily quiet, and we've been living here for over 30 years, and we don't want to see a big change like with problems and issues, and that's why I was bringing it up. Okay. Thank you
Right.
thank you for answering my question.
I can't tell you that.
Thank you for your time, Miss Rebecca. I don't want to mess up your last name.
It's been nice and shit. Now you gotta
Member Mobley, you're unmuted. Thank you.
The parking will be assigned, so it shouldn't have a high level of people just driving up and down the street. You won't drive down Webster unless you're one of the 39 parking spaces that are there. So I don't think it's going to be demonstrably noticeable, the extra volume, because people aren't just going to circle. They're going to know they have a spot there, and that'll be how it's assigned.
Can I just ask one more question? I heard somebody mentioning about the speed bump, and I think it's very necessary because we constantly having people driving from Freeway Drive flying up the street because Freeway Drive might be closed. A speed bump might be a very good idea, especially since there's a school in the corner over there and the residents, because sometimes I'm seeing there's a school across directly in front of my house, and there's cars flying like crazy on the street. Maybe
All
they
right,
could
Ms.
slow them
Rebecca,
down.
That
Thank
is
you so
now your
much.
time. Thank you.
sir.
All right. I don't see any more hands. I don't see any more waves. So at this time, I entertain a motion to close public portion.
Motion to close the public portion.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Easton. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from, I heard somebody, Mr. Latour. Remember Latour, was that you? No? I definitely heard Vice Chair Jones, so I'm gonna go with Vice Chair Jones. All any questions on the motion? All those in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Is there anyone that opposes closing the public portion of this application? Seeing none, public portion is now closed. Attorney Webster, I give you opportunity to close if you like.
Mr. Chairman, I think we've had a lot of time considering this application. I'm hoping that the board considers the proofs that we've put forward this evening, the prior testimony, the enormous work that's gone into getting this project teed up to where it is with the municipality, being designated redeveloper, working on a financial agreement that makes the whole project make sense. We've had some, it's been a long haul, had some tense conversations over the years about property maintenance. We've finally squared all that away. I'm just happy to be able to get this project demoed and started. When that happens, I'll be very happy. So for all those reasons, I'm hoping the board approves this so we can put a nail in this and get this project built. It's been a long time.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
At this time, I entertain a motion for this application.
Just before I do the motion, I just had one quick question. The parking stall size, are you requesting that design waiver this time, or was that I think that was already approved before, but it's come up a couple of times. I just want to confirm it.
Let me,
Attorney Wenzel?
yeah, so it's been approved in prior iterations, but I think we should do it now because there's been some changes to, slight changes to the parking lot. So I think just to put a bow on it, it would be appropriate to have that included.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Motion to approve amended preliminary and final site plan with lot consolidation for case number 25-01, B&O Urban Renewal Entity LLC, 38-60 Berwyn Street, with a variance for no landscape buffer where 4 feet is required, and design waivers for setback from the right-of-way of 7.5 feet where 25 feet is required, and a design waiver for distance of 2.5 feet between the ingress and egress on the Berwyn Street lot and the property line where 20 feet is required, and a design waiver for parking stall size of 9 by 18 where 9 by 20 is required. As a condition of approval, applicant will comply with the recommendations of the board experts as detailed in the planner's report dated February 21st, 2025, and the engineer's report dated February 14th, 2025. Applicant will also provide security cameras on the surface parking lots.
And through you, Chair, just in as addition on the conditions of approval, I believe that the applicant indicated that there would be a live-in superintendent, and there would be no charge for the parking spaces. And also that I think by the time we write the resolution, Attorney Webster's going to probably have this done, but he's going to talk to the neighboring church.
And did we include the I think you said cameras in the parking area?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Right.
Yep.
And just for the boards, and just for a point of information to the board, I did look at the prior resolutions to see if any of the conditions of approval in the prior resolution should be carried over to this one. And there are none, because the only condition of approval from the prior resolution dealt with the classrooms, which are no longer part of this. So that's no longer an issue. So it's only these conditions of approval. There are no prior conditions of approval that need to get carried over.
Very good. Thank you. So we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second,
I believe Mr. Callahan wanted the queue for the parking gate as well. Was that mentioned?
That's something, if I may, Chair, through you and
Yes,
and through you, Attorney
Mr.
Wendell.
Cahalan.
That's something that I can work with the applicant's engineer on in resolution and compliance. It doesn't necessarily need to be a specific condition of approval.
Thank you.
You have a motion and a second from Member Mobley. Was that correct, Member Mobley?
correct.
So are there any questions on the motion? Madam Secretary?
Member Foston,
Yes.
Member Anuké, did we lose him?
Yes.
Member Mobley,
Yes.
Member Latour,
Yes.
Council Vice President Easton,
Yes.
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Holmes.
Yes.
Motion passes. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you for your hard work, and we're looking forward to making Orange beautiful again.
So be looking forward. I appreciate all the time.
As everyone quietly exits, I'm going to move the agenda and ask, is there any old business? Seeing none, any unfinished business? And is there any new business? Seeing none, I ask for a
Motion
motion.
to,
We have a motion to adjourn from Vice Chair Jones. Is there a second?
Second,
We have a
second.
second from Member Mobley and somebody else. Are there any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Is there anyone that opposes adjourning this meeting at 9:27 p.m.? Seeing none, meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
You know,